Call the meeting to order at 6:46 p.m. Thank you. Does everyone have an agenda?
Yes.
Great. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll repeat it. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. So we're gonna go ahead and do the roll call. Ms. Bryant. Dr. Coleman.
Present.
Mr. James. Present. Mr. Melton.
Present.
Mr. Neal. Mr. Neal. You're taking the roll. Mr. O'Neill.
Mr. O'Neill, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, that's.
That was good.
Oh, Mr. Neal.
Yeah.
That's ready.
Sanchez.
Present.
Ms. Spring.
Here.
And Mr. Bergamy.
Yes, I am.
Did I get that right? Okay, great. Got that? Everybody has the agenda again, and so we'll move forward with old business. Well, first of all, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting? Yes, sir.
She wasn't gonna be on Zoom.
Ms. Bryant, not sure.
Yeah, but she hasn't called me.
Oh,
We'll let her in.
Okay. Motion to approve minutes from last meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
second.
All in favor? I'll go down the roll again. Ms. Bryant. Dr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. James.
Yeah.
Mr. Melton. Mr. O'Neill. Mrs. Ridley. Mr. Sanchez.
Aye.
Mrs. Springs. And Mr. Bergamy.
I have a procedure question. Do you want me to ask it now?
Well, let's go ahead and later. That's it.
Sure.
Okay. You get that, Ashley? Yeah, okay, great, thank you. So under the old business, we are supposed to be administrative charge committee appointments. We want to go ahead and announce that. What's the
Surrender.
okay.
Those were the minutes from the 16th.
The last. They were not the minutes from the last.
No, they were the minutes from the 14th. I'm sorry. the first one.
So let's do this again. So any motions to approve the minutes from the 14th, November 14th?
Motion to approve the minutes from the 4th. Second.
Thank you, sir. We'll take the roll. Ms. Bryant, Dr. Coleman,
I'm sorry. I said yes.
yes. You can say approve.
I was gonna say yes here.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Melton, Mr. O'Neill, Mrs. Ridley, Mr. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mrs. Springs,
Yes.
and Mr. Bergamy.
I approve the minutes from November 14th.
Yes. Okay. All right, cool. So,
Thank you.
thank you, Denise. So we're going to move on to the old business, which was announcing the appointments of the choices for the administrative charge committee. Those two selections, the names were Cardell Montague and Serenity Garrett. Oh, Garnett. Serenity Garnett. Oh, okay. The two appointments that were chosen by the Police Accountability Board to serve on the Administrative Charter Committee were Cardell Montague and Serenity Garnett. The announcements. So, we're going to, well, let me move on to new business and then I'll take it at the end. And so we have to discuss the criteria that we're going to use for the appointments to the administrative chart, not the administrative chart. administrative hearing board. Okay, yeah, for the administrative hearing board, so we have to figure out what we're gonna do. We do have, how many, Denise, 35
Maybe somewhere between 35 and 33 and 35 applications.
for, but also open it up for people to reapply. As well.
Is that a question? Do we have to open it up? We're just saying we got 35.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so we actually talked to the county, and their preference is that we do a blend, that we open up to that 35, but also open it up to others who might be interested in the administrative hearing board. And I will also just say, if the chair is okay, that the, unlike this, the other one, which is just two, one of the discussions is having a pool, so you would need more anyway than you would in the ACC, which was only two.
Let me ask you a question. What is the number we can cut off for the new people? 10, 20, or 31? I just. I mean,
Sound like it'd be a deadline. I mean, just see how the men apply by that time.
Speak up, you speak up.
Oh. So, oh, she says it'd be a deadline. You think?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm interpreting it as the deadline.
And how would these people apply?
Yes, it will go out on the county's website.
Can I address
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
The appointments liaison from the county, semi process of the county, means the advertisement and places that we would have to advertise.
Okay.
Which is what we did before, right?
That these people, retired judges or something, like that, these regular citizens.
But you are correct that there are others. There's a retired judge, that pool y'all have nothing to do with.
Okay.
And then there's the other, which
That's
is
the
the
appeal
rank
board.
of a officer of equal or higher rank. So, but this board does
Don't have
not
to.
select those.
That's the board when they don't agree with our stuff.
But
They're over there.
There is,
there's 3 members on any given panel at
Right.
any given time
right,
address issue.
right. But it
Those
can
folks can
change.
rotate.
They can rotate, which is
Depending
why
on-
we're talking about pool,
So you're saying the people that we would pick is that third party,
that third
which
person.
would be of civilians and citizens of the county, and that would rotate as well.
Could,
Could,
yes. You could do.
which
the
is why
pool.
you're suggesting pool. Is
Right.
that correct? Am I
That's right, that's right. A pool says it's more than two.
Okay, all right. I just want to be clear, you know. And so we will set the deadline. Once the announcement, the deadline is for the people to apply.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that, yes. We all want to decide that, those criteria as a group. So, anybody want to open up the thoughts?
For the 35, did they apply specifically for this, or were they like what we had for the administrative charges? Where-
Yeah. They applied for the administrative charge.
So are we gonna reach out to them to make sure they're interested?
And the PA.
Okay. Are we gonna reach out to them just to make sure they're interested in this?
I would think so, yes.
have those 35 been vetted at all?
Yeah.
Are there any requirements for vetting?
When we send them, yeah, they'll probably have to do the same thing. Denise, did, the liaison sent that over to you, Denise,
The what?
about the process? Yes.
Well, let me just back up with you, Danny's question, or whoever asked, these have already been vetted, these are 35 plus, well, 35 plus applications. Were the administrative charging committee people who were vetted before they were interviewed for the administrative charging committee, and the PAD were vetted before they were interviewed, so they have been vetted. But if you open it up, we'll have to go through a vetting process.
Right.
And, the county executive office will do that vetting.
So it wouldn't be a divide.
No, these are strictly your appointment. There isn't a confirmation process in
So who would get them?
the county executive.
What are the vetting criteria?
Oh, okay, hold on, Mr. Jennifer.
So my question is whether the 35 are just applicants who came in through the county executive solicitation, or are they inclusive of the solicitation from the county council as well?
The ones that I have are strictly from the county tax.
So we do not have applications that came in for police accountability board that was through the county council solicitation.
No.
Right. Thank you.
So why wouldn't we use them? Because wouldn't they still have those names? That got vetted through them.
Yeah, they will still have them. They didn't turn it down. I didn't ask them. And there was no particular reason other than I just didn't think to ask them.
I'm just saying. 'Cause that's, well, how many was that?
They had 17 candidates. And they
17.
picked 5. So they should have 12 left over.
Okay. So we can add those 12 to that pool of
Because they've been vetted, I mean.
For clarity, there was 17 that came forward. I don't know if that's the entire pool.
That isn't the entire pool. Those are the ones that were vetted and put forth for doing a listening session.
Gotcha. Just wanted clarification on.
So with vetting, we have a pool, but those individuals apply, right, to even be vetted. But would this then require another application? Because I don't know exactly if we're asking the same questions for the application for the new pool, for the new applicant, which could call into question whether we would want them to have to apply again. So, I mean, that's possible. We could just simply say, this is a new opportunity. We wanted to see if you're interested, please apply here. That would also sort of address them, obviously putting that name in the hat. If they don't apply,
Right. For that. Okay, so Denise, how would that work? If we were to do that? Would they have to go through the vetting process, the background check and everything again?
No, it would be pretty much like when they did the first round of picks for the PAB,
Mhm.
and they had to redo, and they sent a letter stating that, we had to do this over again. Do you want to be considered?
Okay.
So we just sent a letter to that fellow and say, do you want to be considered
So
for
let's do that.
for that?
Let's do that. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll send a letter asking if they can. And then also, I think you should say something about potential pool as well.
But then you're also, if I'm understanding correctly, you're also saying you're gonna open it up to another post.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. And then those people will have to go through the entire process.
Well, can I then ask a question to going back to council? So if the county executive, if the county executive,
Okay, sorry.
if the county executive was that the one that came through the county executive's office, new ones, I'm louder. If the county executive, that the new one that might come through, what is the policy as it relates to the county? Will the county council also create?
You're saying they're separate.
I don't know, is that, I don't know, I'm trying to understand, because it kind of got bifurcated when the council got involved, so just trying to understand if this board puts it out, and now you have people applying, and I think they said they would be vetted by the county executive, is there another process that the council is doing to vet?
No, the council doesn't have.
They vetted theirs, right?
Yes, but that was for the PAB or the ACC. They don't have an appointment authority.
This isn't about that, it was just who was gonna vet them to give them to you.
Yes, what I'm saying is that if they're essentially the folks that applied to that, if I understand this correctly, folks that applied to the PAB and ACC, they would be included and asked, hey, do you want to also be considered for the administrative hearing board?
Mhm.
You're saying, if I understand correctly, that there may be others out there that applied that didn't get vetted?
No, I was really coming back to Mr. James' comment that there were 17 that came through the county council and were vetted through the county
Yes.
council. And if this process opens back up, will there also be a county council vetting for new individual.
And I probably have to probably answer that because this, the ownership of this belongs to you.
That's what I'm saying, they right. So,
Is it in the state law, it doesn't have any procedures about the appointment to the hearing board?
No, it only says that you all are to appoint two or more civilians to you. It doesn't prescribe how you do it. That's up to you to determine how you want to do it.
And so for me, the county council wanted to vet the individuals they ultimately elect, that makes sense. But for this process, for everyone in the pool to be vetted through the same criteria, it seems to be fine to me. It doesn't seem like we need to have a separate vetting process because it's ultimately us making the appointment. So whatever vetting process we're comfortable with would apply to everyone. It's not like we wouldn't need to have different vetting because we're making an appointment.
I wasn't looking at more, I was just saying.
It would have to be because we don't have.
It's the county executive's office that's gonna- Right.
And to resolve all of that, you can take the ones that are already vetted. You don't have to worry about who you're gonna be vetting and how you're gonna be vetted.
No,
If they're interested, they apply for other positions.
I know if they're interested, but the list that I have, I'm only talking about the ones that did not accept other positions. They did apply for other positions, but some people have been placed in other positions. The applications I asked for were the ones that were not placed in other positions, whether or not they're still interested or not is a different story, but they have not been given a appointment.
And it's the preference of the county that there would be a blend or hybrid.
It's the preference of the office of law, not the county.
Oh, okay.
Let's go straight in.
no.
No, Ms. Weaver, the office of law is the person that is out.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I'm sure there's a reason why they're doing it to get ahead of it. So I don't see why we just do what we're doing, the process out. And when we have the people that we have, give it to the vetting process, keep it pushing. Yeah, I don't-
So I want to make sure I understand this correctly. What you're saying is we're going to reopen that position, re-advertise. We're going to let the folks that applied for other positions that may or may not have been vetted through the county, if they were vetted through the council, for example, or something. We're going to let them know this position is open, you may have to reapply. If they've been vetted previously by the county exec, by the county exec's office, they sail through the vetting process. If they haven't, they would still have to be vetted according to the same criteria.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just essentially a Venn diagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
This part's done.
Yeah.
So that's essentially, we're reopening it and allowing those people that apply to other positions, essentially making sure that they know this is
Available, right, you're asking if they're
if
interested.
they've been vetted and are available, that makes it easier as selection if they're selected by us.
There is one more thing, because we decided with the ACC, there was time. And vetting takes a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
So there is the opportunity, and I did raise this a little bit, and I'll raise it with you all, making the first round be those who are already vetted and in the pool. And then if you want to have another, open it up, a phase 2 perhaps, for people who haven't been vetted and who you're opening it up to. My only reason for saying is I'm a little concerned because if we start or ACC starts, that administrative hearing board needs to be set to be able to take the appeals. And so timing wise, if you could at least get part of the pool and then down the line.
How long do they have? How long does an officer have to appeal the process?
That I don't know, I haven't checked out.
No.
Check that out.
Yeah.
I sent you guys the hearing board guide.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of had questions about timing as well. I do like that proposal, because again, if we find the people, kind of helps us with time.
Right.
We can begin, our process and move along. But then we have a contingency in the case that we don't find the people or don't feel comfortable. What I was curious about is I'm one of those people that likes to weigh my options, even if I want to choose something else, at least I know what I'm going away from. So I'm kind of curious if we have an idea on estimated average time of the vetting
The
process.
whole, yeah.
So if I know it's roughly 30 days, then I know what I'm dealing with. And that might help me make a decision.
Between, okay. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to mention that, the training for, speaking of timeline, and how, how we want to progress, the training for the ACC probably will not occur until the last part of January because of the timing and the locale of the training. Will be probably January 22nd through
If she
to
gets
the
it.
27th or something like
Yeah.
that. And then, the next training class, like this, that is until March.
Yep. And
the, person, if I'm not mistaken, the people who serve on the administrative hearing board has to go to that training too. So it's key that you pick them as soon as possible. They have enough time to plan for a January training. The training could be any earlier than
We tried December and it was
Yeah.
too quick.
Now, who do the vetting?
that. The county, I'm not the county.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I'm thinking, her office, who do that?
You mean what's?
When we give them the name, who do the
I
vetting?
have no
This
idea.
liaison person takes care of it, the appointments liaison.
But that's why I think what you're saying, even though we're due to people who's been vetted, start the team, start the game going. Then the people that not vetted, we can put their name so he can start vetting them for the reserve. That's what you're saying for the pool.
Well, yeah, I just am worried about waiting too long
Yeah,
for
'cause-
that first.
Because we can't wait for the whole, those
process.
people being
Right.
vetted before we start the process for the hearing and the appeal. And that's why I was saying, I mean, we can do the 35 and then put it out. But those 35, if I'm understanding, has been vetted.
Yes.
We pick some of them, and then we do the rest of it. We still put the hearing
The
thing out.
announcement out, right, so,
And then we finish too if we use the separate.
right, and I
That's
think,
what I was gonna ask.
and I think it's important to put the announcement out, just to, to open it up and to make sure that we're governing ourselves. to do that.
Oh, yeah, I'm
But
saying-
because of the time constraints, on this, I think that it's great that we already have a pool that we can pull from. But in being fair and also taking those other people who want to apply and reviewing them and letting them know, if there may be the rotation as well. So I think that, we just want to always be fair, and make sure that we cover ourselves to make sure that everybody has an opportunity. Yes, sir.
Is there a minimum, or standard timeline for that?
That's what I want to ask. So I guess we can ask that from Mrs. Brewer.
I think you'll have to have time to run for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So yeah, can you just send that email just so we can be sure? So we'll all have that and we know. Because the training is 5 days, if I'm not mistaken, too, right?
5, 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah. That's a huge
And then,
thing.
Joe, with the new administration on the state level,
Oh, okay.
on the state level. With, it might be a change of the guards in that department to set up the training, that won't be the same people.
It'll be under the same, it may not be the same director of that agency, but it'll be the same core
Process,
workers
right.
in the same process, just
Okay,
in different
It's
directions.
still be
Process,
set
not
up.
Yeah,
change.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just-
I think they can change the process.
Yeah, 'cause
I don't think the changes from Kurt, that's why. Because this is the police training, something standard division, which is kind of, division within an organization.
So is everybody okay with taking the applicants initially and start to do the test?
I'm okay with that, but my question, I just want to have clarity on how many are we trying to take, since we're not gonna have the open pool, from that to that. Right, it will be limited, and I understand why they go with the idea, but how many are we gonna take? I don't need that's all.
Right, so that's what I want to say. First, I want to make sure we're okay with the process and what we've discussed so far. With pulling the applicants and all of that stuff, and then put it out again, right?
So can I, for one, out of our people taking notes, because we've had a lot of stuff, I'm gonna ask that we do everything as a motion on each one, so that
Okay.
they are clear
And then it's.
what is being decided by the group,
Okay.
because it was, I know it's hard.
All right, so a motion to review the 33 applicants that have already been vetted by the county exec's office.
So he mentioned
I'm
seven.
unready. I just want to make sure, and it's just as general. I wouldn't limit us to a number, because I've heard about 35, I've heard more than 35. So when you say a number, and then it goes to that motion, we fixed on that 35.
Okay, so,
So we might need to be a little broader.
so we're going to. So we'll do, it was 17 and then.
Well, you can-
It was 12.
just-
I just, right, I just want to, okay.
So
So,
the number from the county executive
right, so we'll.
I'd like to make a
council.
that we consider all of the previously vetted candidates that applied for PAB, ACC. Contact them first to see if they are interested in being a member of the ministry. Whether those people are vetted from the county
Okay,
or from the council.
right,
County executive.
okay.
County executives. To reach out to all of those people, regardless of the number.
Okay.
Ask them first.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Take a roll call.
When you second, can you say it something?
Oh.
Who seconded?
Sanchez,
Give me a second, two times.
Ricardo,
Cause y'all are this way,
Sanchez.
you don't know who he is, but
Longer plug.
And I think Brian, she dialed in, am I correct?
Yeah, she.
Okay, so if she can, just, speak or put it in the chat, would that be okay for you, Ashley? Okay, so going in and take the roll, can we, Ms. Brian, did you hear the question, the motion? Unmute yourself.
No, I'm sorry, can you say that again?
It's not- We can't, hold on, we can't, hear
Here, clearly.
you. No. Can you speak again, Ms. Brian?
I can hear you.
She's off mute. We can't hear you.
I said I can hear you, but it's a little unclear what you're saying.
They're working on it. They're working on it.
I will type the for the chat.
Just ask her to put it in the chat.
Okay, we start. Can you put it in the chat? Sorry, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So I'll come back to you, Brian, real quick. So, Dr. Coleman.
Change it to the speaker system.
Okay. So she wants us to repeat the motion. Can you hear us okay now? Ms. Brown? Okay, great, thank you.
Tell her to
So-
try to talk again.
So can you, repeat?
I can hear you.
See, still,
I can hear
I
you.
move that we,
she's unmuted. Yeah. But she can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Everybody should just scream like her screen froze.
Oh, she just said, please repeat the
Yes,
motion.
that's what I was asking. Can you repeat the motion?
yes, I move that we contact all previous applicants that have been vetted either by the county council or by the county executive. And ask them if they are interested in positions with the administrative hearing. And if so, consider them as our first.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
Take that out.
I strike that last bit.
So, Ms. Brian, you seconded, right?
No, it
Okay.
was already seconded.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure you're part of it. Right, right. So we're going to go ahead and vote now. We want to start.
Let's raise your
Thumbs
hand.
up.
Here you go.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Coleman.
Approve the motion.
Mr. James. Aye. Mr. Melton. Yes. Mr. O'Neill. Aye. Mr. Rick, I'm sorry, Mrs. Rickman. Aye. Mr. Sanchez.
Yes.
Mrs. Spring.
Yes.
Yes,
Mr. Burton.
yes, I approve my motion.
And you can hear us fine now, right? Ms.
I can
Bryant,
hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
You just have, oh, we can't hear you, so you just have to give us a thumbs up or put it in the chat. Yeah.
Put your volume on high.
Yes. Okay, and I, Kelvin Lavar, yes. I approve Danny's. Okay, thank you.
And just, how many people is on for each hearing board? You know, there's 3 people. 3? I mean, when they hear it. 3? Okay.
Okay, right, so.
No, because there's the judge.
Give me the
I thought there were 2 schools. Just one.
We have to select.
Yeah,
that's
so
okay.
this time out.
Okay,
I mean,
That's what you did. I thought there was 2.
okay, yeah, so let's do that. That's Mr. Melton's area of expertise. How many people we want to pull from that pool, the number? What do you think?
2.
Yes.
So assuming that out of our number in our pool, we've selected 2. And let's say we get a good amount of positive responses and interest. And for the sake of time, I say we go back. I say 4 or 5 max.
in the pool.
Well,
So how big do you want the
Oh,
pool
the pool is-
that would be available to rotate? So you can, the law says 2 or more.
right.
So you can put 50 in the pool of, that would be in the rotation.
So I'll just say that is probably more of a board discussion. Yeah, I don't have really any expertise.
So-
That's just up to our discernment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I was gonna say, just to let you know, they have 10 judges in the pool, right?
I was gonna say that number too.
Yeah, they have 10 judges that rotate.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Okay,
number.
so
Yeah, 23.
Yes.
It's about
Two or
23 or
more.
27. I can't remember the number.
No, they have 2, you can do at least 2.
Minimum.
Minimum.
they sit down, wherever this hearing board, how many is sitting in there?
One that
One.
we picked,
One that we picked.
but they were having a
And
pool
there's a
of
judge
So we want a pool of
and a
rotation.
police officer.
We can say a high number, but remember, we gotta figure out how we're selecting them, like how much time that's gonna take to get to 10, pick 10.
So if we do, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
No,
So if we do a board, in theory, how often will we, in theory, how often are we thinking that the rotation will come around?
We don't know
That's
yet.
hard to determine.
Hard because the officer has the ability to appeal. You, 1, don't know how many cases, and 2, you don't know of those cases, how many would appeal. But I think to Denise's point, 10 was what they did with judges, at least this is a figure it out as you go. So if you start with 10, you still have the ability to enlarge the pool if you find that rotation is coming around.
And I, for some reason, I do believe that there will be a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we need. Yeah, so, that's something that we want to consider as well. Yeah.
Y'all think 10 to 15, I'm between 10 to 15.
Y'all got an interview.
Because what we have, like 7,000 cases already.
Somebody.
You read
Those are just complaints received by our office, not the universal complaint.
Hold on, there's a lot of discussions going on, so we can just focus on one person at one time, so whoever's listening can hear, it becomes a little confused. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Sanchez.
I was just asking Denise, because in Teams, there's a document that said the number of complaints that we had received. But I guess at least you can answer.
That document is talking about the number of complaints that came to our office. They're not mandated to file through our office. Those are just the ones they submitted to us, and we keep count of those. Our obligation for those is simply to pass them on for 3 days.
So going back to the 10, we need to get it going, if that makes sense. So that doesn't mean you can't expand it, but to have some pool of people, and you all have got the interview, come up with the criteria. So you got a lot on you too, just like you did with the ACC. So if you started with a number That means you can't.
We want to take a vote, if somebody can make a motion of the amount. 10.
I make the motion that we do the 10 to start with.
Okay.
Is that what you were saying? Give me a second. Is that what we want or what?
We're still unsure of 10 is, so from my perspective,
Second to have a discussion about it.
yeah, from my
I'll
perspective.
second it.
Okay.
Sanchez, second. Yeah, it's just for the
Thank you.
purpose of the discussion, right?
So from my perspective, it does seem to make sense from a formality standpoint to have a reserve of judges so that you're constantly ensured to have that. I think with citizens, I think to a certain extent, the time that they probably add on a rotation schedule, probably, it just seems like it wouldn't demand as many. So I do like the notion of 10.
Okay.
Just trying to process our, ability to evaluate this 10.
Timeline.
Seem like it'd be a little heavy lift.
I just want to say that when they have this pool of citizens, that these citizens can be eliminated in the rotation for various reasons, conflict of interest. The officer just decides he doesn't want that one or not. So I think you need to have a larger pool than 5 to take account for the fact that they can indeed be eliminated.
Okay, that's good content.
So they can be eliminated now. I think we need a larger pool because I expect, at least initially, I would not be surprised. I have nothing to base this on. I would expect almost all of the cases to be appealed. And the reason I say that is because I think they're going to test the system.
Right.
I think they're going to see, and that's a good thing or bad thing. I think that's pros and cons. But I think part of it is to see the system, how it is, see how it works, see how to maneuver or adjust accordingly within it. So I think initially they're going to be quite busy. I think they're going to try the removal process. So 5 seems, even 10 seems like a small number to me. I'm interested in finding out how many people are actually interested in doing this. But the bigger the number we can get, the more people that are available based on whatever interview or criteria questions that we have. I'd sign them all up. Even with the numbers that we have, you're talking 40 something. I'm guessing half of those people are either somewhere else or uninterested. You're going to have 20 left. Some of those are going to fall out from betting. If you wind up with 15 to 20, to me, that's a good number. But that's really not based on any kind of hard analysis or anything like that. That's just sort of a gut check.
I think you make a good point. They are going to try to test the system initially. I'm pretty sure of that.
And I don't know how long a case takes to hear. Is that one afternoon, or is that something that they wind up taking a week with? And so an individual may be like, you know what, I had to take off work for this. I'm not doing this again anytime soon until down the road. So you have to go to the next person on the list. I don't know. It may be done in an hour. So those are factors which we can kind of consider, but not really know about to consider. So to me, that weighs in as you talk about kind of knowing different pieces. To me, in my mind, that pushes it towards having more.
So can we do a minimum of 10? And if we get more, and then we just add them, so we don't have to be stuck on. We say a minimum of 10. And if we go through the process and we have more than that, we'll just add them. We don't have to have 10 be the final number, but it has to be at least 10. So if we word it at least 10, and we add more to it, we're not boxing ourselves into any. I think that would be the best scenario at this point, like let's at least do 10.
Right.
But that's saying that if we see more, we can add more or.
Is there a cost limitation depending of the number of people?
Oh, I don't know. Cost.
Because I know it costs money to do a background investigation.
I have no idea.
Yeah, reserve pool, you talking about. We ain't got work right there.
If you go into.
Well, I'm saying if the county exec says we're only going to vet this many people because it costs X amount of
Yeah,
money.
but what I'm saying is, people we talking about, they've already been vetted.
Yes.
The 52. If we do
Yeah,
count.
we talk,
42, yeah.
yeah, they already been vetted, and later on, we can talk about.
I did like this princess, yeah. So I like that, yeah. So I
Well,
think
35 of them have been vetted. 17 of them were selected by the city council, or excuse me, by the county council. We don't
They've been vetted.
They were vetted through the same background.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because they were the ones picked by the council. Do you want to make that as a friendly? to-
So I would say that I amend the motion for the 10, and let's do at a minimum 10 for the process, and we can add if we need to, but the minimum would be 10. Um,
Yeah, so you got a second? Did somebody say something?
Yeah,
No, you have to agree to the
I accept
amendment.
it. I accept it. I accept it.
Just the-
We're gonna skip vote. Yeah, we're gonna take a vote. Yes, sir, that's right. Ms. Bryan, did you hear everything okay? Great, thank you so much. Can we, so we're gonna start with you in the voting.
Okay, I vote yes.
Thank you. Dr. Coleman? Mr. James? Mr. Melton? Mr. O'Neill?
Aye.
Mrs. Ridley? Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Spring?
Yes.
Mr. Lee? And Kelvin Paul? Yes, okay, thank you. Mr. O'Neill said, I just agree with everything. Okay, so we said 10.
Minimum.
Minimum, sorry, minimum 10. Yes, sir, I'm sorry. I disagree with everything.
You're allowed.
No thumbs down today, Mr. Bryan. Wow. No, I'm glad you didn't hear that. Okay. So we'll do that, and then. So after we, get the,
Do we need to move to a closed discussion or closed session to discuss the question?
no,
No, and I just want to mention, we did that the last time we were about this, I did reach out, and we could, but why? I mean, you know,
I got it, I'm just asking.
yeah, no, I'm saying, so in this one, it's an administrative function that's not subject to the Open Meetings Act. So you can choose to go in closed session, but you can stay. in open session.
Can I ask a question? Did you choose the questions you want to ask? What do you want?
Well, whatever. it's
The criteria.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
process.
criteria.
Okay.
yeah, so we got that. And then I guess now after that, we're okay with that, like you said, Mrs. Springs, we can continuously pull from that after we get the initial. I think that's good. And then we'll come up with the questions. If anyone have an opportunity to read about the hearing board, administrative hearing board, that you could read.
Kind of like the process we had before, where everybody brought a couple questions to the table. Jump them to what everybody kind of liked.
So, okay.
Does that fit for this process or not so much?
Yeah, it
We
does.
done a criteria yet or no?
No, but it does, and that's what I was going to say, but of course, the question is going to be different. Do we want to do that here tonight too as well?
I think we could do the criteria,
Right, the criteria.
which would then give us the ability to come back. with a question.
Okay.
But I would also, I guess, propose that I don't think we would need as many questions for this position. So, but I think, but again, I don't want to speak for the call for course. Like once we determine our criteria, that would dictate the questions.
Okay. So that's why I was asking anybody get a chance. Anybody have any thoughts on the criteria?
There's also talk earlier about a blended process where we would also put out an ad. Bring in to have them do that. Should we make a motion for that process as well?
Yes, if you wanna.
Yes.
If you
All
wanna.
right, I move that we also authorize an ad to be put out to the public to ask for applicants for the administrative hearing board.
Second.
Is there a room for
Brian,
discussion?
were you able to hear that?
Is there room for discussion? I heard it.
So yes, we want to take a vote. So did you hear it? So you'll be able to vote. Oh, she's typing.
You writing something?
Okay. We'll come back to you. So we'll come back to you. I'll just go ahead and start that. Dr. Coleman.
She said, is there room for discussion?
Okay.
Can you open the chat? So we can see?
Oh, wait. She put it, tell her, she
Okay,
has to put it in to everyone.
okay. Put it in the chat to everyone.
Okay.
You said you wanted a discussion? So, well, I know
So she said,
you're gonna have to type a whole lot. Unfortunately.
Call in.
Yeah, we did. Place oh, can we place the application on the PAB website?
Yeah.
Yes. She's typing. Take your time.
Mhm.
No, don't take. Okay, okay.
So I think,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I think what Ms. Bryant is saying is we place an application on the PAB website, and that application has been kept open in perpetuity, so you constantly get a renewal of people who are being added to your potential pool. Just as you may have people that get out the pool, you may have a need to add some. So that number that you may have could be in flux. If I understand what Ms. Bryant is trying to
She's
get.
shaking her head in agreement. So.
No, I mean, I'm just thinking about, that's what I was trying to figure out too, right? If you have a potential pool, but you don't know how many, you can have some that may or may not be there during this Wadi or whatever it is, they can rule out someone, that they get to next on the list, whatever it may be. But you can keep a renewal of people who may be potentially interested. The question that it runs into is, how do you vet those individuals? If you vet those individuals, or what do you do in order to bring them in? Because the question is, if we stop at 10 and we find out, well, we need 15, we need 20, what is the process to get us to 15 or 20 or 25? Do we then have to start at that point and say, I need to put these people through the vetting process and then make a decision? How do I get to that next iteration?
Typically, in a lot of places, and I don't know how it's done exactly. But if you have an open and continuous application process, when you have a call or when you're doing a pull then from that to say, okay, now we have a list. We need 5 more people, so we're going to pull our current list of applicants that are submitted thus far. You pull that, their first contact is say, are you still interested? In which case, if they are, they have to fill out the next step. And a lot of times by then, people have moved on, they've done something different, they changed their mind. So you can eliminate a lot of them quickly. But that's often a process that's used in a lot of government hiring.
So my only concern with perpetuity is that we might not go through that process until there's, let's say, 150 people have piled up, right? How do we filter, right? And do we have that ability?
You can close off an application process at a certain number of people and say, this closes at 50 people. Or this closes at 70 people.
So that, yeah, that's my concern. Then that's saying that there's a limit or a boundary. But if we just leave it open,
Yeah, so then.
over
You can
time.
also say your application is only retained for a year or whatever period. And those that are older than a year just kind of fall off.
Can you repeat that again, Denise? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, or you could put a timeline on how long you're going to retain the application. Because I've seen some things where your application will be retained for a year, 2 years or whatever. And after a year, after the 2-year period, it just drops off.
We can do both.
She's, checking. Oh, was that a new term?
No, that's it.
So they decide to vet them. I can't see that.
Yeah.
Says, or when they try to apply, just say applications are not open at this time.
Well, I think she's right, because you're not gonna want to send every single person to get vetted.
Right.
So there has to be an initial sort of screening. So even if we keep it open, maybe we just make it a part of our work so that quarterly we screen whatever applicants come in.
Yes,
And that way we have an idea of how many people are available. And we can send people into vetting, because vetting might take a month.
It might cost money.
Right,
Oh, that's a big, yeah.
right, because there is a question that Danny brought up. So we might then just want to do that. So that way we're getting people going through vetting. As people drop out, we've got people fresh coming through vetting that we can just move. The new applicants. The new
Let's,
pool.
let's work on.
No, he made that motion. So it's all about that.
That makes sense. Yeah, right. That makes sense. To close it, like you guys are saying, there are certain members have a vetted,
Right.
and then open it back up. And I mean, it's just like with the fire department, they do the same thing they have. For the recruitment, they close it, they open it, so I think it'll be the same
Let's say
process.
quarterly, right? Depending on.
Yeah, depending on the need.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, excuse me. When the. You're talking about the pool.
The new pool.
Revolve.
Second string, we're starting.
But with, when the announcement goes out to me, that's on the general website of the county.
Yeah.
So it won't say go to our website to apply.
It be placed on the PAB website and also on the general.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what she was suggesting.
Right, on the PAB
Right.
website and the general website.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Motion.
She wanted to discuss.
You okay?
I'm good, yeah.
So what is the motion that is currently on the table?
Do you want me to amend it to add the review process?
Do you want to?
I could.
It's your motion.
All right. I'd like to amend the motion so that, I'd like to authorize, do I authorize Denise? Yeah, I'd like to authorize Police Accountability Board staff to issue an advertisement, an announcement asking for applicants for the Administrative Hearing Board. And as the board, quarterly, we should screen any applicants to see if anyone should go into vetting so we can add them to our available pool.
Just add one thing.
Absolutely.
That they advertise.
Oh, yes.
County website and the PAB website.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Did you hear that, Ms. Bryant? Okay, thank you. That's your.
Yes, I heard.
That's my amended motion.
Is that, do we not do anything about the closing? Is that the closing as well?
Well, we'll just review it quarterly.
So we're just gonna leave it open to people?
Yeah, and then just review it and then refresh it. So that way it'll be empty every 3 months.
Who seconded
Right.
Me.
Oh,
Yeah, that was second and
Yeah,
on discussion.
that? It was.
I just amended it, so I don't need it.
Okay, go ahead, move one vote. Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Dr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. James? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. O'Neill? Aye. Mrs. Ridley? Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Spring? Mr. Berkeley?
Yes.
Mr. Raw, yes. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. So now I guess we will discuss the criteria for those. Well, first, let me back up, make sure. So, okay, that's fine. So we're going to discuss the criteria that we want to put in place. Is that okay? Ms. Springs, you good with that?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So Jump in. Okay.
The criteria that we're looking for in those individuals?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Um, I struggled a little bit on this one because we started out with folks that we're reaching out to already have applied. If I create criteria and they've already applied, were they able to speak to that criteria based on their submission already? So I'm hesitant on coming up with a criteria after the fact for those people who we have already said. So we'll be applying.
We could request what we want, right? We can still communicate with them and say. "This." So it's a question.
Let me think.
Let me just also say, when you send that letter out, because they were coming in on one thing, you might want to share what you're looking for, so they can make an informed decision as if to whether they want to stay,
Right,
even stay in.
right. You was gonna say something? No.
No, I was just saying, to that point, the criteria we what we're looking for, the process to be how we get that information to evaluate. So if they apply for one thing, we should still have the opportunity to evaluate them on what we're looking for through the means that we select. I'll just say for me, ethics is one of the criteria I think is still relevant and important.
And one criteria which is different from us, is availability, in that it's no set meeting time. It's according to when that case or whatever come up, you know what I mean? So we can't tell them they're gonna be every Tuesday or whatever like that. It's gonna be the hearing, and they have to be available. If they're a person, they have to be willing to put down whatever they're doing to go to that hearing place. Yeah.
And when we were just thinking and talking about that, I was thinking about someone who was retired as well. In that.
You said flexibility, maybe flexibility.
Somebody say they're available, if then we get into a situation that they say, well, I won't be available.
Right.
And
You
But
rotate
in
to
general,
you rotate to just
You
like
go
having
to somebody
you
else. I can
rotate
be
to
available in
that.
that time. So
yeah, I understand that, but what I'm just saying, they have to be aware it's not a set.
Right.
It's
That's
not
why-
a set meeting time.
That's why I like the word flexibility.
Flexibility.
Because they won't know they're available at any given time, but at least if they know they're relatively flexible most times.
To be able to do day.
It's like Danny said, we don't know what the appeal process might look like. Is it gonna be an hour on a regular basis, or is it gonna be multiple days?
We don't know when the actual, when the people go, the officer or whatever go, is it in the daytime?
These could be anytime, depending on if we're not just dealing with the Prince George's County police. I could tell you exactly when, but you're dealing with all the municipalities. They can be in the evening, they can be in the day, they can be in the morning, which is why you've got this pool.
Right.
To rotate through. And one other thing, the guidance says, and if you want me to read it to you, what the role of the hearing board member is. It says members of I'm gonna say AHB are the sole judges of fact. It is their duty to review the evidence, determine the credibility of witnesses, resolve any conflicts that may arise during the hearing, and determine the weight of the evidence. In resolving these issues, no one is permitted to evade the province or function of the hearing board members. To determine the facts of a proceeding, hearing board members must rely on their individual and collective recollection of evidence. Hearing board members should take notice that the arguments presented by counsel in their opening statements, closing arguments, objections are not evidence. Also, they should keep in mind that any question put to a witness is not evidence. Rather, it is only the answer which is considered evidence. Furthermore, hearing board members cannot consider any answer that the chair has directed them to disregard or that has restricted from the record. Hearing board members should carry out its fact-finding duties without bias, prejudice, sympathy, fear, or favor toward against any party, and their judgment should be rendered with fairness and impartiality. In addition, hearing board members should adhere to the following duties and responsibilities: to make an honest assessment of the facts. Each hearing board member each hearing board member has equal voting rights and must exercise those rights. While there is no evidence of rank regarding voting, the chair is responsible for holding other members to task regarding these duties. And that's all I checked the legislation and I checked the guidance, and that's all they address when it comes to the role and responsibility of the hearing board. So I kind of see them as like you picking a juror.
That's exactly right.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's right.
Take this back, this flow.
That made it,
Oh, okay.
that made it harder than easier.
No, it made it easier. I'm not necessarily looking for a skill set other than
Right.
pay attention.
So.
Right. I said, pay attention. I mean, so I'm not looking for a professional skill set. I'm looking for, as we talked about, a pool
Common sense.
of citizens, pool of community members that can participate in this process. Every circumstance may differ, so it's not, their personal experience, not necessarily or expertise may not benefit, but certainly opening up to the community wide. And I think that also gives credibility.
Right.
That it's opened up community wide, not looking for a specific skill set in this.
In theory, I do agree with that, but I do push back a little bit because we do have the privilege to give an ability to evaluate people. And a lot of people in general can be very indecisive. And to the degree that we can at least filter through and screen people for certain core attributes that are not necessarily skill sets, but attributes that we think are important. I think we would be benefited by taking advantage of that. I'll just say, even if we did revisit interviews, we don't have to, but if we were, we could ask questions about, tell us about a time when you had to make a tough decision, right? And that could indicate whether someone has the ability to illustrate how they can make decisions. Because it does sound like from the summary, you're gonna have to come to decisions and weigh information. You can't be, I don't know, I'm not sure. Like,
Juries do that all the time.
The administrative hearing board, they're hearing an appeal by the police officer over what the charging committee has. So they're voting to either, yes, you stick to what the ACC has said, or no, right? They're not.
That no could be either way. That no could be no.
Well,
They
that's
can
what
kick
I'm.
it back, or they can say no, the charging committee is incorrect.
Redo
The
it.
officer, or they could potentially, I guess, kick it back to the ACC
Yes.
to review again. Or they could kick it back to the department for more investigative.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what that workflow looks like, because I think that would help too, right? Because if they would say, if it's a yes or no, either yes, this sticks, or no, it doesn't, and that means it automatically goes back to the ACC.
I don't think it's that far. I don't think it's that clear.
Yeah,
I think they have to create some process. So
yeah. I mean, that's gonna require.
the benefit of the jury is everybody got to do it, and you don't have a choice. So with this pool, I think there's some variables in there that we want to avoid if we can.
Keep in mind that the administrative judge that sits on each one of these panels has pretty much the chair of the hearing.
They're the chair and they are writing the decision, correct?
They're right now.
Personal side. Job description.
We would have to write a job description because there does not exist, a job description does not exist, just what I generally read.
I'm saying just that,
Uh-huh.
they be able to see, folks and see that.
Did we make it a part of the application process?
Hasn't been written yet.
But I'm saying that's what she's saying. So people will understand.
If I heard you correctly, you're saying it could be created.
It can be created. We haven't created the application yet.
Is that,
What process? That's what you're doing
does that
now.
answer?
So,
I think by applying, a lot of folks self-eliminate it. That's if they're indecisive. Or if I agree with you that maybe that could be part of the question. Or interview process.
so, and how would you ask that question? To kind of figure that out?
Yeah, so if it was, if we wanted, if we determined the criteria was we want people that are decisive, we'd ask them, tell us about the time you had to make a tough decision and how did you make that decision, right? So then they have to explain to you part of their decision-making process, something that could be tough. And I do think some of these cases might be tough.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, one thing I would prefer is someone that's pretty objective. But we all carry biases and things like that. But again, I think that would be helpful to at least know that people are going to be decisive about the decision to stick with them, feel good about making them, particularly part of.
By the time when you were asked to be Washington, when you decide something, how did you handle it? So include that as part of the questions. And I think what you're saying too, as well as far as the criteria of what the decision making, we'll see how, basically we're trying to see how they're thinking, what their reasoning, what their skills are, how they work the process. And that would be a lot of questions that I think will help us with determination.
So are we going to look for any type of like professional background, or we just like Mr. James, like you said, just open it up to everybody? Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think for me, I'm hearing more soft skills rather than hard. And I'm also trying to figure out how do I ask questions that are not, that I don't think that there's a correct answer. So I understand what you're saying in that, how did, describe a situation where you made A, B, and C. I'm trying to make sure I don't ask that in a way that there's a right or wrong answer to that. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we're getting too far in the weeds. We just need full citizens who are interested in serving the community and can read, write, and read.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're, and that's the question that we're saying, and that's what we're saying. Those questions we get to, how do you reason? How do you logic? I think we're right where we need to be. That's what we're talking about.
Where do these hearings, where do their
They can take place, it will take place at the location where the office is.
Oh,
If you
okay.
remember, you can read it.
So we would want some regional
Mhm.
diversity
Yeah.
in our applicants.
So, yeah, and I guess that would be something.
Yeah, it could be, I mean, it could be College Park, right? Yeah, it could be Oxon Hill, right? So you want to have people available in those areas so that they're not asking to drive.
And I think you need to put that, and when we put it on the website announcement, one part of the information out to them, that cover, all of those areas.
Now, remember, this is for pool. You're coming up on rotation again.
Right.
Anyway.
That's good.
It's not healthy.
So somebody
Oh,
who lives in
right,
a lower,
right.
come up on rotation.
Mobility and accessibility. Is that what you're saying?
And again,
In some ways, that's what I was saying. That's what you're saying.
Well, I think it's clear enough.
okay, but I think in the put that in the description. And let them know.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
Okay, yeah.
Is that, that's on them, right? Like, that's up to them. As long as we make the criteria known up front. So
Right.
as we make that clear, that we've done our job. Their mobility and availability.
Right.
Have to comply, at this report.
And then that could be one of the questions too.
So I.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I've heard so far 3 criteria.
Okay.
I've heard ethics, I've heard availability / flexibility, and now I've heard mobility. Right, okay.
Yeah.
I think you said, I think decision.
Oh, you said it's just like that.
Is it mobility or transportation? I think it's something totally different when I hear the word mobility. totally different. So I just want to make sure I'm clear. Is it,
The availability to go where the case is being held.
so, okay, mobility for me was ADA compliance. That's what I was like, okay. So that's why I just want to make sure it was clear on what that meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can read, write, and reason.
Let's just go with it, right, Ms. Bryant?
I mean,
Read, write, and reason.
So you going
How is it comprehensive? But I mean, that goes into the logic we're talking about.
Right.
The reason is, we're talking about that already. Logic, you know, logic. Comprehensive.
So in that particular one, are you saying you would do a question that got you to that?
That's what that's what I was getting at, like, we're already discussing that. That's something that we need, but yeah, I mean, we'll discuss it with kids.
Yeah, it's gonna read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you?
Sorry? Oh, I thought you were gonna make
Yeah.
There are a couple of things I can read about what they want these people to do.
Hold on, what'd you say, Denise?
And I said there are a couple other things I can read if you all want, about what other considerations that they want.
Okay, Mr. Mel, can you read that? I'm sorry, I did not see that part.
Yeah, so the last message from Ms. Bryant says, that is what juries have to do. Also, they can be unbiased.
Okay, thank you. So did we want Denise to read that? You said how many, Denise?
I said there were a couple of other things. If you look at it, if you all look at the guidance that I sent you for the hearing board, it's kind of different stuff all over the place. There's no one collection of it. There's another one that says other consideration, other factors consider. They're telling these people who are on the hearing board that other factors to consider when deciding a case include the following: base your decision on evidence submitted at the hearing, weigh pieces of evidence submitted, including the credibility of each witness, draw reasonable inference from circumstantial evidence, use logic and common sense, apply your expertise and experience, and when appropriate, endeavor to persuade other board members to your position.
Do you all feel that some of those innate abilities are in most people? That most people can hear evidence and make a decision? Or do you all think that that requires a particular type of person?
I think we should be clear in any announcement or criteria that we have. Those are the kinds of characteristics, character traits. That doesn't really answer your question.
And I would say anyone who's interested at the level that they're applying for these positions will probably already have, would be more likely to have those skill sets already.
Being that this is a new process and a lot of this is being formed, I feel this responsibility to ensure that we have validity and in the things that we're doing at all the stages. So I feel a little funny about it just being anybody. Because I often feel like sometimes there are people who just want to be picked. And when they get picked, they just go back to being who they were. So I don't want to make the process unnecessarily difficult, and I don't want to be particularly exclusive. But I think if there are some important things that we think a person should demonstrate, I don't see anything wrong with it. And I don't even think we have to go back to the same questions to do that. I think we can settle on our criteria, try to see and evaluate. It might not even be a right or wrong, it's just us. You demonstrate it to us so we can evaluate.
How would you want to demonstrate?
Through their answer.
Okay, so like coming up with questions or like something that they fill out as part of their application.
I would leave that to us to decide.
So that's what I'm asking. Is
Yeah,
that a suggestion? Or-
if we ask them to submit it, we have to trust that they did that. But if it's an interview, then we put them on the spot.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Mr. James.
I hear what you're saying. I think Ms. Bryant makes a valid point too. And the piece I'm struggling with is I don't know what I don't know, but I don't want us to build this NASA rocket and find out all we needed was a paper plane. And that's why I see us doing a lot of processes and including a large pool. And then we might find out we need to pull some things back. I think as we think through this process, is how can we grow it as opposed to building it so large that we're trying to now figure out how we reduce it. So those, so I agree, we may need to come up with behavior-based questions so that we can try to get a sense of someone's ethics, because again, that's
Right.
that term, well, what does that mean? And so we've got to come up with questions that allow us to make a very quick determination on someone's level of ethics. Because some of those, like I said, they're soft skills, there are something you can point to and say, I've had this training. I mean, there are people who have ethics training and still get ethical problems. So we just want to make sure we're addressing it.
I was going to just say, if we're talking about a jury process, I mean, even they go through weeding out, right? If you go through a grand jury process, if you can panel that, it's not like even when the universe shows up that they just pick everyone. They narrow it down to 9 or 11 or whatever it is. So I sort of look at this process as that, and sort of in agreement with Mr. Nelson and Ms. Springs that, you know, we have to have some sort of criteria to sort of narrow it down a little bit. Don't want to make it necessarily onerous, just like Mr. Melton said, but that there has to be something, because even when you get a jury notice, you know, you show up, doesn't mean you're going to serve on that jury.
I was about to say something similar in that I thought today you were coming up with criteria that would help inform you making those questions. So if you come up with 5, 7 criteria, then you go back to your home and make your questions based on that criteria. And then you can evaluate those questions.
Okay, so we have so far, what do you have? We have ethics, flexibility, mobility.
Transportation.
Decision
Decision making.
making. What else was?
It was reading comprehension.
Yeah, I said like logical reasoning or something like that.
Analytical.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. That's it. Yeah, with-
Okay,
And then I have a question that I don't expect an answer to. So it's probably something for us to research. Because as the officer goes to this administrative hearing board, he or she will know the officer of equal rank, because when you're coming out of their agency, and they'll be able to make a decision on whether they accept that person or not. I believe that's part of the criteria. Will they be able to strike someone?
Well, let me just throw something in it. New Carrollton can ask Prince George's, he can use Prince George's County Hearing Board, so they may not know the officer.
Gotcha. Okay. And then is that similar for the judge? What basis can the officer have that right to say, I want to exclude this judge?
Most of these people will be represented by some kind of counsel. And they can strike it with the judge that they come here, had a problem with before, they can pass him over. But I think that.
You can only do that one time.
But they're gonna restrict them.
I was about to say, I think there's gonna be a number of times you can skip, because you can't keep, if you skip this judge, you gotta take the next.
Right, because if I skip and I want to skip until I get back around to the person I like.
No, you,
I
when you skip
understand.
Judge A,
That's what I'm thinking in that same vein. I'm just trying to find out from the community member's perspective, other than name, what will that officer or their representative have that community member's name going into this hearing board selection? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Because I know this judge's name, I know this officer in rank, I know what agency he or she may work for. Now the question is, what is going to be available to them for that citizen?
I think the same information.
Go ahead, okay. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Okay, yes, sir. No, go ahead. You ain't got no question. You sure?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I'm sure.
So, Mario, so far, what do we have as far as the criteria?
So if somebody could, if it's okay, Mr. Chair, make a motion as I say. Okay, who wants to make that motion? Thank you, Dr. Cohen. Okay. Ethics, flexibility, transportation mobility, decision-making, and reasoning analysis is the ones that I.
Add bias. Unbiased.
Good with that?
Were there any others that?
That Denise said the evidence that logic, common sense, but that wasn't what y'all said.
Right, so. Good with that? I think.
That was, that was her motion, what I just said.
Dr. Cole.
I just want to be clear that we are not going to use.
Wait, we
Well,
need,
we
that was
gotta-
a motion, and we need a second.
There, look. There we go. Okay.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure when it comes to transportation that we're not making anything particularly necessary. Their responsibility to get it is their own. But so it's-
Yes, we're not, I think what you're saying is we don't require them to have a car. We don't require them a particular mode of transportation.
I just wanted
It's
to-
just that
you know,
they
I
know
verbalize
they
that.
might have to
Yeah.
go across the campus.
I want them to understand.
Right. Within the county.
Right.
Well, they gotta go to the training.
Yeah.
Oh, remember, this is criteria. That doesn't mean y'all gonna do a question to go to it.
Right, right.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
That's the other thing you just, and they gotta be aware that it's gonna be this 40-hour training.
I don't think they have to attend on one day
Oh, okay.
of training. It won't be that whole training for one
It
day.
says it and it just says that group, it doesn't say the, right, in the group.
Okay, motion in a second, so we want to go ahead and vote. I'm sorry, Mark, I'll come back to you. Ms. Bryant?
I didn't hear the motion.
I heard it.
You heard yes? Yes, Dr. Okay. Dr. Coleman?
I,
Mr. James?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yeah.
Mrs. Ridley?
Aye.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Spring?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Kelvin Duval, yes. Okay, great. Thank you. So then we'll get that and then we can place our questions off. Right? What's the day? Wednesday? By Friday?
Today's
so we can-
Wednesday.
Say that again?
Today's Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you, Tim. It is. So I was just saying by Friday, is that okay? We'll go through the weekend.
I don't think so.
What, by
To get this out to us by Friday. And then we also have to have the applicant.
Yeah.
Right? It needs to be
Yeah, I
ready by
have
Friday.
that ready to go.
Okay, cool. So is that okay?
So they coming up with questions
Or,
to give.
correct, yes.
by
So
Friday.
2 or 3.
Yeah, so, yeah, 2 or 3, no more than 3. No more than 3, and then we'll do the same process that we used the last time.
And we
You
send
want
those
it
to
back
the
by
next.
when?
Yes.
By Friday. He said by Friday.
You want me to get it to them when? You want me to get it to them by
So I'm
Friday?
sorry, no, we're going to give that to you by
Their
Friday.
question. That they.
Can I ask you, this is what you're asking us.
They'll get it to me by Friday.
So are you
And then when
suggesting
you
that
want me to
we
turn
come
around
up
and
with,
give it to you, then
They haven't gotten that.
we come up with 2 to 3 questions and send them to Denise by Friday, close of business,
Correct.
related to the criteria? we-
Yes, yes.
Do we-
I was asking Denise to make sure that she sends everybody the criteria we talked about.
And you want that you want done immediately.
Yes. Yeah. Anything else?
That's 100. understand what you're saying.
Did you say sometime? All right, cool. So is everybody okay with that? All right, cool.
And then Denise compile that, and then when do we discuss it next?
So we're going to figure that part out.
Okay, here we go.
That's the next week, which will be next week.
At Christmas, is next week Christmas?
No.
Oh,
Don't try. Don't try to get me close. I do think we should meet next week. It's today, Wednesday. What is next Wednesday? Thank you. Is that too close? Is that okay? Can you get out to the garage?
It's poorly, but.
But, and again, we can do that, virtually. We go for that virtually. Is that okay? Is that okay?
How about a virtual meeting next Tuesday?
is that the 20th?
Oh, I can't do next Tuesday.
Next Wednesday?
Wednesday? So we're going back to Wednesday and Wednesday? Can you make
First
Wednesday?
day of Wednesday.
Can you make Wednesday?
At what time?
When the 20th be next Thursday?
No, that's Tuesday. The 21st is Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that I know.
Yeah, I'm right.
Everybody, yeah, I'm just thinking like.
Today is the 14th,
I'm
right?
right now, today the 14th.
Yeah.
That's the 14th, the 21st is Wednesday.
Wednesday, a week today.
14th plus 7.
Yeah.
14%.
That's what I'm saying. I thought Wednesday was the 21st.
That's what we did.
I thought I heard somebody say the 20th.
No, they offered the 20th.
Oh,
as a-
okay. I'm like, my
Motion
math,
next
my
Wednesday.
math ain't math.
I'm not on that.
And what time?
Huh?
6:30. 6:30.
What time were you saying?
We're doing Zoom, though, correct?
Yes. 30, yes.
Virtually though, is that correct?
That is correct.
Are we gonna do it 6:15 as usual?
6:30.
I might be a little late, but I'll chime in, or I might be the last time in the car. So I get to my house. Late.
I'm sorry, can you all hear me now?
Good with that. 6:30. Give people time to get home.
Hello, what's that date?
Okay.
I'm going to.
So,
My car.
And going back to the agenda, the announcement.
About.
All right, hold on, excuse me. So can, we're gonna go, with the Open Meetings Act training. Has anybody else completed that by chance? Other than Mr. James?
It's
Okay.
voluntary, is that correct?
I started the training, but
I have also.
So for example, the ethics training is ongoing.
That is absolutely wrong. That's correct. So,
So
I
it's
have
an IT training.
take some training on that. So, yeah, I have completed the training as well. Just wanted to make that and put it on the record. That I completed the open, open meeting act training as well.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
add 2 other things.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hall is going to send to each one of you a confidentiality statement. If you would please print it, sign it, and get it back to Ms. Hall so we can have it for our records. And then the only other question is, Ms. Hall sent the annual report for
Yes.
review, and at what point will people make any comments?
Well, Denise, can we have comments at the next meeting? Or you want?
Whatever you all want.
Okay, make it easy, so can we do that too? Put that on the
Like I said, it's just a base.
To review it, and I did. before.
It's a good base. Good base. It's a good base.
So since we do that, but we can just officially give everybody enough time to read when they come back, yes. And that's by next one. Okay.
When is it due?
Yes, ma'am.
Just for clarity purposes, with the Open Meetings Act,
Yes.
could we get a roll call of who's actually taking it?
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so.
On
we'll
board.
round. You have to make a motion for that? Okay, just making sure that my council did. So we're just gonna ask if you have completed the Open Meetings Act. Training. Ms. Bryant?
No.
Okay. Brian says no. Dr. Coleman?
Yeah.
Mr. James?
Yes.
Mr. Melton?
No.
Mr. O'Neill?
No.
Mrs. Ridley?
No.
Mr. Sanchez?
Negative.
Mrs. Springs?
Yeah.
Mr. Bergamini?
No, where is it available?
To be clear, you don't have to take it. We have enough people who will take it.
Denise said
Denise
no.
said-
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and Calvin Paul, yes. Okay. Okay, so all right. Marvin Joe Camp?
Yes, and so did
Yeah, you
Ashley,
can-
and so did Sandy, and so did Denise.
Okay. I think we wrote. Okay, cool. And what was that? I
At
did
the
that.
end.
At the end, okay.
Yeah.
Trying to think of something else I could bring up. No, so, okay. Say that again.
We're all required to take the annual ethics training, annual cyber training.
You know the deadline?
So that's June then. You know what I'm saying? Because he said the fiscal year for the county. is July.
So you said
But
the
if you have
annual
a county-
ethics training? So it's
Our
annual,
account.
yeah.
Did you say about that, didn't you?
Say that again?
So we're all required, I don't know if you guys have done it or not.
And what was the other training?
There's a cybersecurity training that you have to take if you have an account.
Is that an email you got?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an email that we got.
Because I didn't get an email. I didn't get an email about that
County
ethics training. for
Security
me and board
IT
members.
sends it out to every county
Yeah.
employee, every county staff, every county.
Because I've taken it, but I don't
You didn't get
take
it yet?
it here.
No, I got the
Usually. it's
cybersecurity, but not yet.
You did. I mean,
Okay. I just- I haven't got that email sent to the staff for me to take. So I guess that's what I
Yeah.
need.
The other is if we're filing our financial disclosure.
Oh, cybersecurity training?
Usually it is.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'll look for that email information changing. I think we'll send that back out. Thank you.
I'll send you all something tomorrow. Miss Priest, I sent you an email.
At first she said she wasn't getting it,
I
right?
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Anybody have anything
I'm just so
else?
happy to be a part of the. Damn, you got me in the now.
Anybody have?
Close the meeting.
I'm sorry.
I move that we close the meeting.
You gonna close?
Adjourned. I think you meant to adjourn.
If
One of us is in a session.
Yeah.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay. Okay, let's go down the road real quick. Mrs. Bryant? Thumbs up. Dr. Coleman? Mr. James? Mr. Melton? Mr. O'Neill? Mrs. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez? Mrs. Springs?
yes, and oh,
Mr. Bergamini?
Yes.
Denise? And Tandy, do you want us to adjourn?
No,
Okay.
I voted again.
Meeting adjourned at 8:20.
let's stay in the-
No, you're not supposed to.